Hey crafters, thanks for joining me. In this video I'm going to make a colourful summer card, perfect for any occasion. Hope you enjoy! So to start this card, I stamped the larger moss flowers from Lavinia Stamps onto a piece of scrap paper. And I stamped this 6 times, 3 of each design. And I used Memento Tuxedo black ink for this so that I could color it in with my alcohol ink markers. These are the Copics. And I wanted them to be bright flowers, so I used colors that went well together but that were quite different. And if you notice, I'm coloring quite quickly, so I didn't worry about going over the lines because I knew I would be cutting these flowers out. So once all the coloring is done, you can see how bright these flowers are. I'm going to cut them all out. And then using a black marker, I'm just going to go around the edges of the flowers. This helps to give a nice finish to the flowers, and if you prefer, you can always skip this step. I ended up cutting out 12 of the larger flowers and 6 of the smaller ones from that moss flower set. And you can see the difference. The one on the left has a black around the edges and the other one doesn't. So I just went through all of those off camera. Next, I used the feather leaf stencil from Lavinia Stamps, and I put it on my background on a bit of an angle. And then I used 2 colors of Distress Oxide and just blended them together over the stencil. And I went back and forth with the colors so that I have light and dark areas. And then once I removed the stencil, I just rotated the paper and repeated it. But this time I colored a smaller area. And I just love these 2 greens, but of course you could use any colors of ink that you like. But I like the fact that these kind of looked like leaves in the garden. And then once you're finished, you can see this beautiful background, which would work well either vertically or horizontally. But for this card, I'm going to put it vertically. So next I stamped the small hummingbird stamp from Lavinia Stamps, and I used that same alcohol ink friendly ink. And I just put him in the middle here. And I had the idea for this card to leave lots of white. Normally I color in my backgrounds, but I was going for more of a clean and simple style card, and that will help the bright colors of the flowers really shine. So next I colored in my hummingbird using some bright, vivid colors. And you can use any medium, of course, to color in your hummingbird, but I like Copics because they blend beautifully and they're nice and bright. And you can see just gorgeous here. Then using the Rainforest ink, I'm going to mask off the bottom of one of the fairy charms, and then I can stamp this so it looks like I have a tendril or a stem hanging down that I can put my flowers on. And I'm just going to repeat this and put a few different lengths so that my flowers can be hanging down in the garden. And I love how this stamp, you can stamp it in one long chain, or you can stamp it on top of itself like I did there, and it still looks beautiful. Now, if you forget to remove the tape, you might get a little smudge, which I did on one of these, as you'll see in a few minutes. But in the end, it's not the end of the world because I did cover it up with a flower. so I don't think anyone will know. And I'm just going to add one more of these above the hummingbird. And then I can start adding in my flowers. So I thought the flowers worked really well if you put them in little groups. So because they're all cut out, I can tuck them in behind each other and make like a beautiful group of flowers. And then I put them in various places around the background, concentrating near the hummingbird, of course, and then just a few random pieces here and there. Once I was happy with the placement of these, I glued them down. Now, the majority of my cards I send in the mail, so I wanted my flowers to be flat. So I just used glue, and then with the help of one of my stamp acrylic blocks, I just put it on there until the flowers had set. But if you prefer your flowers to be more 3D, you can always use foam squares instead. Once that was done, I cut off the excess bits, and I decided to add those to the bottom of the card just because I really love that combination of the yellow, red, and orange flower petals. Now, to add a little bit of sparkle to this card, I used my sparkle pen just going over the hummingbird. And that just adds some gorgeous shine. And then for some more 3D sparkle, I added some stickles to the inside of all the flowers. And I just used a clear stickles. I think this one is called unicorn, but any color would do really. And then as a sentiment for this card, I stamped one of the 3 blessings. This one says happiness, and I put it on a piece of black paper and then attached it underneath the hummingbird there. And I haven't quite decided what kind of card this is going to be, because I think it would work well as a birthday card or an everyday card. So I'm just going to attach it to my 5x7 inch card blank, and I can add my inside sentiment later on. And now you can see the finished card with all that sparkle. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video inspiring. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. Have a crafty day!